This is my last day recording in this environment and room, and I feel like we have to somehow commemorate that. Let's take down our slightly torn Skyrim poster. Hello, welcome back to my face. I guess one day we're gonna figure out how to do intros. Today I'm gonna talk through some of my favorite, I don't know how to describe it. I won't say overpowered magic items, but I guess the thing is overpowered in a very different sense, like magic items that can be used, I think, for ways in which Wizards of the Coast didn't intend for, and that's what makes them powerful and interesting. I'm not talking about a Staff of Magie or a Luck Blade where you get to do math, because I don't like math. I want the things that have broken uses, and that's what makes them powerful to me. So we're gonna dive through a couple of my favorites today and talk through that, but of course, I think my favorite thing about all of D&D is learning unintended uses for things that kind of break and exploit the game in fun ways. So if you have any of your own recommendations, you know where to leave them in the little comment box down below. Let's start some discourse. And we're gonna start things today with what I think is the most abused and broken item in all of D&D, and that is the Bag of Holding, which I'm hoping by the time this goes live, I've released my short I made about it, because I love this thing. If you're somehow unfamiliar with the Bag of Holding, it is a wondrous, uncommon magic item in D&D. It can hold up to 500 pounds of weight and not exceed a volume of 64
hex upon you.
Turn them into a small creature, throw them in the bag, they'll suffocate to death. D&D, baby. And the best thing about any potential magic item, because you can even do this with the Staff of Magie, which is a broken, powerful magic item, is the ability for things to get catastrophically bad if you need that as an outcome. And the easiest way to do that, open a Bag of Holding, inside of a Bag of Holding, and suddenly you've got an astral nuke black hole thing, and that is f***ing terrifying. It's basically a high fantasy black hole grenade of sorts. And that's f***ing sick. But if you want to break physics, then I actually think my favorite magic item in I'm actually going to say this about every single one we talk about today. I love the immovable rod, because there's so many cruel and awful things you can do with it, and that's how I like to play D&D. If you're unfamiliar with the immovable rod, it's essentially a metal cylinder with a button on the end, and once you press it in place, it magically suspends the rod in place and can support up to 8,000 pounds of weight.
I'd like to get down now.
Very simple use case. Grab the rod, push the button, holds in place and can hold an ungodly amount of weight. It's immune to gravity, momentum, and reason. It's genuinely immune to reason.
That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all.
But we won't start with the more cruel use cases, because one of the coolest things and most underappreciated things that all of my time in DMing, my players have never realized they can do with their immovable rod is kind of use it as a free-fall parachute, because you could just be falling from an ungodly height, falling off a cliff, yeet it off something. As you're falling, pull it out, press it in place, and suddenly you're suspended in air, and physics would probably rip your arm out of its socket, but who DMs like that? Some people do, I guess. God, the idea of getting like stuck 400 feet and kind of having to like keep releasing and falling bit by bit, it's kind of cool. I like it. It's kind of like Peak. When you're using it in a lot of scenarios that will come up in your D&D campaigns, you can do some terrifying things. Like if you are at sea and you're being pursued by a naval vessel and you just suspend the rod in the air, if this boat is sailing at you at a direct speed, they're gonna have to go through this thing and it should rip apart their poop deck. This is the only boat term I can think of right now. It's just this terrifying weapon that can suddenly stop. It'd be like driving full speed at a car and then suddenly there's just an object there that you can't avoid. It's gonna rip right through you. And then obviously there's a lot more practical uses for it, like, you know, barring a door closed or using it to latch something open, or like suspending a big trap of boulders above someone's head. All of those very, you know, normal use cases for it, but that's not what we want. We want the real messed up stuff. Combining this with something like sovereign glue, so you've permanently glued an immovable object to someone that has this amazing amount of weight that can prevent, you could hold the Tarrasque in place. Actually, I don't know the weight on that. Let's fact check that. How much does Tarrasque weigh? Enough to break the ice. How you going? My name's Arlo. Now, if I were to describe to you an object that could rapidly expand and just create a fortress out of absolutely nothing and thin air at a whim that could just, if you were in a tiny room, crush everyone to death, you'd probably think that's pretty terrifying and powerful, right? That's because it is. If you're unfamiliar with the Instant Fortress, it's a rare magic item that's a 1-inch metal cube, and then after speaking a command word, it will expand to a 20-foot by 30-foot tall fortress that you can be inside of or crush people to death with. And all you need to do is say a command word. That's pretty neat. And obviously one of the most easy and straightforward combinations with this spell is using the enlarge or reduce version on it, making the cube maybe even smaller, dropping it into someone's drink, breaking concentration on the spell, saying the command word, and just watching the person instantly get pulverized into a red pulp. And yes, it only is meant to do 10d10 bludgeoning damage, but if I were in this room and a 20-foot by 20-foot fortress were to appear, I don't think I'm surviving. I hate to be that person. I think I'm dead. Obviously, this is meant to be very Fortnite coded in that it's a battlefield tactical, pop a fort up around you to protect yourself. Maybe trap someone in a little confined space with you, or give your ranger that for some reason wants to use their bow to do minimal damage and hasn't multi-class into another class, kind of elevated sniping point to shoot down on people. But I've never seen the Instant Fortress used for anything except for just, we're in a janitor's closet and I'm so sorry for what's about to happen. I think one of the most sneaky ways of setting this up is be you challenge someone to a game of chess, again, in a small confined space, and you just set up the Instant Fortress as a rook piece. And then you move, you're just playing chess and you get to a point and you go, checkmate. And I've just realized you would also die in the process of doing this, but it's so worth it. Oh, and while we're speaking about chess, you might not know this about me at all, but I'm a huge chess fan. I try to play 5 to 6 games a day, and I lose every single one of them. I just need a minute. Oh. I don't feel good about this, but I'm a fan of the idea of it. And when I was presented with the idea of a game that combines chess and my love of D&D and role-playing games into one combined system, I had to find out more, and I'm so excited today to talk about our sponsor of this video, Kings of Curth. Kings of Curth is a fast-paced strategy game that blends the tactics and, battlefield operations of chess with the fantasy combat of D&D. Designed and playable for between 2 and 4 players, it seeks you to be in control of your own army of 10 unique species, each with their own units, abilities, and different playstyles. But unlike chess, combat is contested, meaning both players will roll dice when encountering each other in combat, making it more risky and high stakes. And in Kings of Curth, you have 3 different ways of winning: defeat the enemy king, capture the soul forge, or eliminate the entire opposing army. And I think one of the most beautiful things about this entire Kickstarter and game is that it was created by an 8-year-old and his dad that combined their love of all games that they've played in. And I truly think this is one of the most beautiful and wholesome projects that I implore you to go check out. And always, there's another big tick: all the artwork and assets are hand-drawn and there is no AI touching any part of this campaign. The entire system is incredibly easy to learn, endlessly replayable, and the thing that I'm finding myself craving more and more each and every day, it's screen-free, so you can sit down and actually just talk to people face to face, and I love that. So if you want to find out more or check out Kings of Curth for yourself, click on the link in my description, and if you back today, you'll get the exclusive King Draxor army. And thank you, Kings of Curth, for sponsoring this video. I might as well dive into this one as well. Another of my favorites, Sovereign Glue, which is just the most torturous thing you can give to your D&D players. Obviously, if you don't know what Sovereign Glue is, it's a wondrous magic item in D&D that can permanently join 2 different things together, and the only way of separating them is with universal solvent. And admittedly, some of the stuff I'm about to go through with Sovereign Glue is a bit far-fetched and probably your DM won't let you fly with, but I don't know. If you get your hands on this, I think give it a crack. I think some of the things that are slightly potential with Sovereign Glue are amazing. And obviously, the very simple ones are traps. Chuck it on someone's boot, chuck it on someone's bare foot and glue them to a surface, glue doors permanently shut, glue a monster's weapon to the ground so they cannot pick it up and use it. Those are incredible uses of Sovereign Glue, but they're not as fun as some of the other things you can do, like gluing someone permanently to a surface so they just have to wither away to nothing. But one of the coolest, most like anime-y type things you could do is sovereign gluing two magic items together so you can single wield a two magic item effect weapon in a single hand. But in actuality, yeah, the sovereign glue is terrifying. I love the idea as well. Someone said to me that one of the funniest things you can do with sovereign glue is sovereign gluing the lid onto a universal solvent so you can't use it. So
I use the stones to destroy the stones.
there is no solution to all of the sovereign glue shenanigans that you get up to. I think that's sick. But another one of my favorites is the Necromancer's Suitcase, or the portable hole. Very simple premise. In a very Roadrunner sense, the portable hole was essentially a 6-foot cloth that you can become a 10-foot extra-dimensional deep space. So it's like throwing a blanket over something and now suddenly it's a 10-foot hole you can go down into and hide into, or put things inside of if you like. And I call it the Necromancer's Suitcase because one of my favorite things that you can do with this is just summoning undead and skeletons down in this little like murder pit hole that you can, you know, unfurl and refill and drop somewhere, and when someone steps into it, suddenly you've got a swarm of a zombie horde just waiting for them. I need to go to therapy. Obviously, the most common use case for any portable hole is some form of trap thought. Like I've said, I like doing it with zombies. Chuck some spikes in there, use an alchemy jug, and fill it with mayonnaise for some reason. Because bodies don't decompose in mayonnaise, so you can keep them ripe. And I think better use cases as well for the portable hole is just better item storage. Like a bag of holding is great, but there is a weight limit to it. Just being able to, you know, unfurl your dragon's hoard that you've just stolen and just, it's so deep and such a big mass, and there's so much mayonnaise you can put in this thing. And then obviously, as we touched on before, if things get really precarious, go into your portable hole, open up your bag of holding, black hole those bitches. Now, I've been talking about mayonnaise for what feels like far too long, so it'd be absolutely criminal not to talk about one of the just like economically most broken items in D&D, and that of course is the alchemy jug. And I feel like everyone knows what the alchemy jug does, but if you don't, it's a wondrous magic item that is a giant jug that you can speak the name of the liquid of, ranging from acid, basic poison, beer, honey, mayonnaise, oil, vinegar, fresh water, salt water, or wine, and then you can pour out that liquid. It's so versatile. I think anytime any D&D party first gets a jug, it seems a bit gimmicky and goofy, and you go, great, I guess we've got some potion when we need it. We'll chuck it in the bag. We'll forget about it. But it is economically devastating.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
To D&D worlds, and I need to harp on about that. You can sell an acid vial for 25 gold pieces. So you can just use this jug to flood the market of acid. And I know what you're asking. Who wants to buy that much acid? We'll figure that out. We'll make that work. We'll venture. We don't need to slay monsters anymore. We can be acid salesmen, you and me till the end. And maybe acid isn't your cup of tea. Sell honey, sell wine, sell mayonnaise. It's the most devastating thing to be like, hey, we never need food or drink again, because they're never gonna need rations. Just eat the mayonnaise, eat the honey, drink the wine, sell the acid. You're giving this to your party and they never have to even play D&D anymore. They're just gonna become finance bros. And then it's up to you as the DM to either adjust the economy accordingly, or just now the entire campaign is having assassins trying to hunt down these mayonnaise salesmen, which is also a cool campaign, and I don't hate that. Obviously, there's combat uses as well, you know, oiling the ground so it's slippery and flammable, poisoning people, a lot of great uses, but none as good as flooding holes with mayonnaise and storing bodies inside of them because they will not decompose. And if you're a DM thinking about offering this to your players and asking yourself the question, well, my players aren't gonna go that crazy with mayonnaise. They will, every single time. They'll fill armor with mayo. They'll fill their portable holes with mayo. They'll flood taverns with mayo. They'll sell mayo, they'll drink mayo, they'll eat mayo. they'll bathe in mirror. And there's nothing you can do to stop them. Look, I think this video has been very silly and goofy, but I think you're catching the vibe of what I really enjoy in D&D, specifically with magic items, is not genuinely overpowered like min-maxi magic items. I love items that just consistently are never going to get used for what they were initially intended to. That's what's fun for me in D&D. The rules there are to give some form of structure, but I always love going through conversations and you can see fundamentally reading something, you go, this is what they want this to be used for, and no one's going to do that. And here's all the dumb things they're going to do with it. The amount of Reddit chains I've gone down of people being like, what is the stupidest use I can find for this object? And there's just a flood of responses. That's why I love this game. Now I implore you, if you have your own fun, stupid magic items and fun uses for them, please let me know in the comments. I want to bond with you over these. And I'm definitely gonna consider making a video about 100 different uses for a bag of holding, because I think that'd be really fun. This has obviously been a bit more of a loosey-goosey video. I'm very tired. I'm going through a lot right now. I am moving. I've been very scatterbrained. I haven't been sleeping because it's been a very busy time for me. So maybe this is a more fun, deranged video and I'll just try and be a bit more lackadaisical, but we'll see how things go. I don't know. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you having some fun with me as we go through this. And until the next video, bye DM.